個性の出来損ないが見下すんじゃねえぞ。おう、うろうってか死ね
I'm not gonna lie, I spent way too much time on that opener. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mega Medscript YouTube channel, and I gotta say, this build I did today, ton of fun. I don't think I've had this much fun in PvP in a while. It's kind of janky, but it's really annoying to fight against. So I figured being on the giving end of it was gonna be a great time. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run through it from the beginning and show you how it works, go through each perk top to bottom and describe what they do and why I chose it. And a quick reminder, if you enjoy the video and you want more of it, like the video, subscribe, let me know in the comments what you think, and let me know if there's any builds of exotics you want me to try out, because I might just take you up on it. The build I'm calling BAKUGO Titan, coined by my Twitch moderator TK. The idea for this build is to, frankly, be as annoying as possible with fusion grenades, and more importantly, to channel my inner Bakugo, which really isn't hard because considering most of the time I'm, despite initial appearances, just completely and utterly seething with anger. And the best way to do that is with the newly buffed ASHEN Wake. So ASHEN Wake, exotic armor piece that's been in the game since Season 3, recently buffed. It has the intrinsic perk, Bring the Heat. Reads, fusion grenades now explode on impact and gain increased throw speed. Final blows with fusion grenades grant grenade energy. The amount of grenade energy that you get back varies on enemy type, but since this is a PvP video, there's only one enemy type, and that's other players. And other player final blows with fusion grenades immediately refuel your grenade. 100%, 0 to 100, all the way back. Plus it comes with a built-in fastball, so don't do what I did and throw a fastball mod onto mine for it to do literally nothing at all. So the idea for this build is to try to capitalize on the exotic as much as possible and kill as many people in a row with fusion grenades as possible, which I decided to run Code the Devastator for that. Code the Devastator being the Burning Maul subclass. It has a few things going for it, namely Roaring Flames. Roaring Flames is a stacking buff in the subclass that reads, kills it with your solar abilities, increase those abilities' damage, and goes in 3 stacks. Each stack is 25% additional damage, for a grand total of 175% damage output on the highest. The reason this is important is fusion grenades don't one-shot by default. They used to back in Destiny 1, but since then they've been nerfed to about 150-ish damage on impact. Roaring Flames times 2 will remedy that problem, but we need to build to that state. You want to body someone with a weapon, knock off about 25% of their health, and then swoop in and land the kill with the fusion grenade, do that a couple times, then pack a one-shot grenade for as long as you can keep the buff up for. The buff lasts for about 20 seconds, so if you get up to Roaring Flames times 2 or higher, you have a decent amount of time to go find another opponent before it runs out. Plus, the other ability you'll regularly use on the subclass, the Throwing Hammer, will also one-shot opponents at 3 times stacks, and will reliably get the hand cannon throwing hammer kill of Roaring Flames times 1 and low resilience guardians even with one shot in a hammer, but they have to be really low resilience to do that. And the last piece of the puzzle, the super itself. Burning Maul unfortunately recently nerfed. The duration of the super got nerfed, the explosions from the heavy attacks aren't as reliable at killing people anymore because there's fall off from the epicenter of the explosion, but it's still probably the easiest way to rack up stacks of Roaring Flames. And once you come out of the super, you're free to run rampant with a bunch of annoying one-shot sticky killing machines. The best way to ensure the damage you need in order for the fusion grenades to one-shot and still have a reliable way of killing someone is with hand cannons, specifically 140 RPM adaptive frame archetypes or 110 round per minute aggressive frame hand cannon archetypes. These ones do enough damage to make the body shot grenade cheese consistent, but I shied away from 110s because honestly, they're probably in the worst spot of all hand cannon archetypes right now, but more importantly, their handling is just awful. They move about as fast as frozen molasses going uphill. So I went with a 140, and the specific one I used is an old-fashioned with True Sight, Accurized Rounds, Demolitionist, and Snapshot. Unfortunately, Quick Draw Demolitionist isn't available for this weapon, but this one was pretty good in and of itself. And it also has a range masterwork set to 3. I think Old Fashioned will be a decent weapon in the meta if ever 140s get a slight uptick in viability. They don't need much, just a small push, and it's an alright weapon in its own right. Snapshot for good handling, Demolitionist for that 10% additional grenade energy on a kill. Really important for this build, I'll go over why in a moment. We also have my personal PvP shotgun I use regardless of build, and that's the last man standing. I never bothered to run a mindbender farm because I value my sanity. This role I'm alright with because of the opening shot, but more importantly, this last man standing also has Demolitionist, and the reason Demolitionist is so important is twofold. First off, you're going to miss with those fusion grenades sometimes, and also, if you die while throwing it, even if you get the kill, you won't get the benefit of the returned grenade energy. You'll have to wait for your grenade to come back on its own, and with the armor sets I ended up pulling together for this build, I ended up at tier 7 discipline. Even though tier 7 discipline has good recharge rates compared to base tier 3, anything you could do to push up that time is better. Plus, on special weapons, it gives 20% of your super energy back instead of the 10% of primary gives. The second reason I really like this shotgun for this build is just that base, hand cannon and shotgun loadout is among the most tried and true loadouts you can have in Destiny. And you don't necessarily need to go solely in the mindset of using the fusion grenades. They're powerful, they're very good, but this is a first person shooter first and foremost. Having weapons you can rely on is certainly a good idea in PvP. Last weapon is the heavy, 1000 voices, just flavor, not really any reason to be in the heavy slot. Grenade launcher is the more practical but still on theme choice for sure. I just wanted to go have giant blasts of flame and explosions, cause what's more Bakugo than that? Armor perk wise, we'll start from the helmet going down for these videos. I went with a void helmet with enhanced scatter targeting and hand cannon targeting. Just increasing the handling on weapons is something I noticed I needed with this loadout, because a lot of this loadout is actually not very aggressive. It's kind of prediction based. You're kind of waiting on your opponents to come in. You want to body them with a hand cannon shot. You want to go throw the grenade afterwards. You're kind of relying on your opponents to actually play into you for a lot of this. You're not actually actively rushing a lot of the time. You can. It's definitely still viable to do that, but the most effective way to capitalize on this is to have somebody run up onto you. And you want to have these targeting perks for those just because increasing your handling is able to facilitate killing them faster, either by making sure that you just have the better gun skill and the better handling in order for you to follow through with that, or if you're just trying to make it so that you can hit them with the hand cannon body shot and immediately swap over to your grenade, throw it as quickly as possible, or if you're trying to go over from your shotgun to your hand cannon and you're caught in the middle and you're trying to throw a grenade in between there, which it was kind of lacking in those respects initially, especially the shotgun. On the Ashen Wake itself, the set I have is Arc. I ran a discipline mod with impact induction. Helps to maintain the grenade recharge rate when you land melee hits, and you don't even need to have the throwing hammer charged to do that. Chest piece, I went with the void one, kind of throwaway one on the list. I just threw in a discipline mod and an unflinching hand cannon mod into these slots. If there's any point in which I would be starting to tinker with seasonal mods, I would have definitely started with the chest piece. That, or I would have gone with the chest piece alongside with the boots. Speaking of boots, mine were Arc with enhanced shotgun dexterity, and that's honestly all I fit onto these. The shotgun I was using, I was able to get a fifth of my grenade energy on each kill, so I figured rather than putting energy into a mod for discipline and a scavenger, I'd focus purely on making sure my handling was good enough so my shotgun could be more reliably pulled out whenever I needed it. The class item has a couple of different ways you could be running it. It's always going to be in the solar configuration. You're always going to want a solar class item for this particular build because all of the good grenade perks are there. Mine has yet another discipline mod, Bomber, and enhanced ashes to asset. Being able to use a barricade and immediately get back some grenade energy is nice, and you could go with enhanced bomber and normal ashes to asset on your armor build depending on how your stats line up for this. But for me, my intellect with my build only got up to tier 2, so I went with the higher super energy on the kill just for being able to get my super back more quickly, and that is Bakugo Titan for Season 10. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.